Welcome back, everybody. Hey, right now we're going to go and take a look at the Blob Brush. This last time we were here, we looked at the regular brush, and it did these things. All right, that's from our last video. But now let's go and cover these back up. I've got a new layer opened up, and that new layer opened up, I'm going to go ahead and, again, my paintbrush, which is right here on top, if I left-click and hold, I get my Blob Brush right below there. Now, the Blob Brush is a great brush because it actually works like a stroke, but it actually paints like a fill. I'll show you. Let's go and throw a nice big color on here. And I'm going to go ahead and change the size of it. Let's go nice and large here with our brush. Oh, let's say like a size 12. And I'm going to go ahead and draw a line here. Right there. Look at that. I got a nice line right there. Let's be like a little bit heavier there. Let's go ahead and change that. Again, let's change that thickness there. And my blob brush. There's my blob brush. Nice and large. Look at that. Nice big heavy brush. Now when I select my blob brush, you'll notice that there is an outline around the outside of the object. We don't have a center spine like we did for the regular brush. Again, this is a brush that works as a fill. Okay, so let's go ahead here, and I'm going to go ahead and select my next one here. Let's try another one here. So I'm going to go ahead and select back on my blob brush again, and I'll go ahead. I got my small line again, but let me go back in again and make it a little bit larger. And look at that, got nice and large now. Got that big brush. But now I want to show you something. Remember before the last one, we did our line work. We saw an outline of blue just around the outside of the object. Here also, but watch what happens now. I'm going to go ahead here and draw a line right there. And you notice now, see how that line actually reads as one solid piece. There's no center spine on here. Let me go and erase these, pull that out, pull this over, and I can actually shrink it up. There we go, move it off the side. Let's go ahead and do another one here where I'm going to go ahead and grab my blob brush and I'm going to select a color. Let's do another color this time. And for that stroke on this one, let's go ahead and go something a little bit larger. And again, I'm going to go ahead and blob brush. Get my thick line? No, let's go back. Let's get that large brush again. There we go. Now we'll go back in and change that stroke. There we go. So here's one. Okay. And then this is a line, and again, I select it. We see just the outline of the shape. But if I immediately go back in with my brush and I paint another one, let me change that stroke a little larger again, and I paint right on top of there. See that? I can do a line out here, a line there. I can go up here, go over there, go out over here. And if I select this, it's all going to read as one object. Look at that. It's just one shape now. Kind of a nice thing with the blob brush that you can go ahead and you can paint and you can fill in a space, and with that space that you paint or color in, that it doesn't show any strokes in between. Okay. Likewise, when I have this selected, I can go up here now to opacity, click on this, and I can go ahead and drag that down, say 50%. And there it is. There's your 50% of relative lightness or darkness. So look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. All that nice, light, transparent. And certainly I can go down and take it even further. Almost barely manageable. Look at that. And I can come back in and delete those. And I can draw another shape on top. Right? I can draw another shape on top. Let's go ahead and put another color in there. Let's do, say, a red this time. And let's select that. Something a little bit bigger. That's a small one. Let's go to that really big. There we go. And that one automatically comes back to full strength. Let's see how much I put it right there. Right? We just see that right through there. But if I go ahead and select on it, arrange, and send to back, see that? We still see it. We see through there. Right? Let's go move it across this one. Now it's seen as two separate images. This is one, and this is one, because I optically actually just sent that path back. But if I hadn't have done that, then it would have gone ahead and just selected and adapted itself to the other shape. Now let's go ahead. I'm going to go and erase all these. Select that, hit delete. And with the brush here, let's go back into the blob brush. And if I double click on the blob brush, a bit like we had with the regular paintbrush, that you can actually change the fidelity. So you can have a line that's more accurate, or you can have a line that is smoother. Okay. Also, likewise, one thing you can do with this, which is rather interesting, where it says size, angle, and roundness. we can change the way the brush looks. So let's go ahead and change the size of it. We can customize it. I can say let's make it 28. Let's make the roundness. Let's go ahead and kick the roundness down to really narrow, and I can change the angle of the stroke. So let's see what that's going to look like. Let's say OK, and look at that. Right? So I've got all these little shapes that are playing together. Look at that. I got all those nice shapes together. When I select it, they're all read as one shape. Look at that. It all reads as one particular shape, which is fantastic, right? That's what something we need. Then certainly once we have that there, we can go Object and Group, which locks it all together. And then we can go ahead and have multiples of that object. Now, one of the new things, too, I'm going to show you here is how to copy and paste something the really easy way. Yeah, you can go Command-C to copy and then Command-V to paste, but even easier is with your object selected, hold the Alt key on your keyboard, and then left-click and drag your mouse off the object, and you have an instant copy of it. One more time. Command-Z that is with the object selected, so I'm going to use my black arrow, click and drag a box around it, and then I'm going to hold the Alt key on my keyboard, and then left-click on my mouse and drag while I'm holding both off to the side, and then release. And there's my secondary object. Now, certainly the second object, I can go ahead and, if I wanted to change color on it, I can certainly do that without damaging the original artwork, right? Because it's now a secondary image from the primary one. So again, the Alt key and left click and drag makes a wonderful way to copy. All right. Now that being said, I've gone ahead and changed or customized the brush. So I go back into my Blob Brush, select that. Again, I can change the angle of it. Right? I can change the angle, the rotation of it, and I can change the roundness. So I want something a little bit more bloated. I can do that. And we'll say OK. There we go. So now we have a new object inside there. But because this object is touching this one, they're now merged, right? If I had drawn this one separately and grouped it, it would stay separate away from the other one. Just go Command-G, or Command-Z to undo. Then I'll select just this one and go Object, and we'll go ahead and I'll make sure that we're locked here, and go Command-G, locks it together. And I can move this off to the side. Select this one, move it off to the side, and I'm good to go. Again, so we can see that these are two separate ones. So let's go ahead now, and with the brush itself, we'll go ahead and experiment one final time here with our Blob Brush, and we'll change our basically our object itself, right? So go back here, double click on it, and I can shrink it down, and I can go ahead and put the angle, put the roundness back up, put the angle, doesn't matter which way it goes because it's always going to be round. And so I'm going to go and say accurate because I want it to be fairly tight to what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead here and look at that. It pretty much stays exactly with what I was looking for. Look at that. Looks like a little bunch of sea kelp out of the water. Look at that. So let me change my color. And you see, because I've changed my color now, that I can go ahead and write that right on top of there. Can't see a thing. Go ahead and put my yellow on. And notice now, those separate colors are going to be a new shade. Those are all by themselves now. Those are singular ones, which are one color property. So I select those, you'll notice that just those move around. Look at that. So I'm locked into that. All right, so the Blob Brush, you can rotate it, you can make it an angle, you can make it a chisel, you can go ahead and make it thin or thick, you can change the accuracy of the stroke, and have it extremely accurate, or you can smooth out the shape. But again, when you're painting with a broad brush, it makes it pretty nice to be able to go in and change and edit and modify your drawings. Okay? All right there, folks. Let's go ahead and practice with that blob brush. Have fun.